Oh man. Hello once again, everybody. I'm back. I'm your host, Eric Black, for the JCAL Education at Home series, Anyone Can. And I'm here to show you that anyone can be an abstract painter. I've been an artist all my life. I graduated from SUNY Purchase with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts, where my concentration was printmaking. I've studied sculpture, engraving, etching, and did a lot of silk screening. I've also created visual arts, graphics, and motion design for huge Fortune 500 companies to mom and pop shops. Some of the companies were McDonald's, Burger King, Bally's Total Fitness, and I'm here to do some abstract art with you and have some fun, blending colors and making things pop right off the canvas. So the great thing about abstract art is you don't have to know how to draw. You're using colors, shapes, lines, brush strokes to create emotion. Usually, we like to work on the biggest canvas possible so we can get all our ideas out there. But I'm also going to show you that you can do something with a lot of detail and a lot of emotion working very small. And you can look at these small pieces and you can see, like, I put my heart and soul into these things. And this was a project that I worked on, and it was over 100 and I think 25 panels that all went together. So we're going to jump right into it. But before we jump in, I just want to give you a little background about my journey into the abstract art. So, you know, I've been drawing all my life, like I told you before, and I love doing cartoons. And this is an example of one of the cartoon characters that I created, and he has a nice little abstract background. And the character is superimposed. Now, this is a portrait that I did, and I just want to show you the contrast and how different each one is, and also show you the jump to making an abstract piece, how different that is. So when you're doing these abstract pieces, you're in a totally different mindset. This is a mindset of creation. And I just wanted you to see these pieces to show you how different they are, but also to show you what you can capture in your pieces, like just with these colors. And those are some of my favorite pieces. And we're going to jump right into it. Okay, so before we begin, I'm going to show you some of the tools that we're going to be using today. I'm going to have some big brushes. I'm going to be using this to put some big strokes on the canvas. I have medium brush, couple of small brushes to do some detail. We have my trusted palette knives that I use to smear paint on the canvas. If you don't have a palette knife, you can always use a simple knife or a piece of cardboard just to smear your paints around. We're also going to be using tape so we can mask out some areas and create some cool effects, almost like a stencil. Can't forget the pencil and a Sharpie. Any magic marker will do. We have a bunch of, tubes of paint so we can squirt some paint on the canvas, and a batch of acrylic paints. And what I like about acrylic paints is the acrylic paints dry really fast, so it allows you, in a few minutes, you can add another layer. So that's what's good about acrylic paints. You don't have to wait. Like oil paint, you'd have to wait. Oil paint takes a long time to dry. So yeah, we're about to jump right in, and before we jump right in, I'll show you one more thing. We're going to start off, the foundation of your abstract piece is going to be your color. The color is the thing that's going to set the mood and set the tone for what you're doing. So I mixed a few of my colors. I mixed around maybe like 10 or 15 of them, 10 to 15 of them. And these are some colors that I'm going to be using today to create some pieces. All right. You can also use straight from the tube, but we're going to be doing pouring later on. So I just mixed a lot of paint and put it in a cup. Simple stuff. And the reason I wanted to show you the colors, I just want to show you the effects that color has on a piece. So I have those two pieces that I showed you earlier, and they're similar styles. One is called Halloween, one is called the Ocean Dream. And you can see from these pieces, I'll put them together right now, that I used a similar style, but the color, it changes the entire mood of both pieces just by a simple change in color. So that's why color is important. And, you know, choose your favorite colors, however you're feeling. You know, I'll show a few colors on the screen, a few color combinations on the screen, and you can take note to get some ideas, but we're going to jump right in. You know, my name is Eric Black, and I'm going to start with a black background. So I'm just putting this down as my base color. And I'm pretty much just going to fill the canvas with the black. And this can be any color. You can use an orange if you want, black, whatever. I'm just filling this up because I think it'll make the other colors pop off the page or pop off the canvas when I do it. Okay, all right. Mixing a little water in there. Right now I have my little base color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add colors on top. I'm adding while it's wet because I want to do a little bit of blending to the piece. So I want some of these colors to be blended in. I want to be able to blend them. So I'm doing a lot of this wet. I'm not even letting the paint dry. Now I'm going to use my palette knife. And I'm going to put some directly on the canvas. Yeah, and I'm putting this paint on very thick. Just go with the flow here. I'll take my big brush and I'm going to stroke right down. And we're going to let this dry, and then we're going to jump right in with our next stage. You know, with these abstract pieces, a lot of it is about the layers that you add. So you keep adding layers and texture until you come up with something. So yeah, we're back again, and we're going to start adding more layers to our artwork. And yeah, I'm just going to start with a few colors, adding some colors that I think will make this thing pop out. And I'm going to start off. I just think that this will work. A dab of this color right here. And I'm going to use my palette knife to smear it a little bit. Yeah, right now I'm just going with the flow right now. It's all about what you feel. Some of this darker color. Remember, right now I'm just going with the feeling. Put some paint on my palette knife. I'm gonna add some black around these edges. I love some of these nuances that you create when you do the blending like this, and when you start. There's so many different things you can do with just a palette knife. It's kind of therapeutic for me too. Look at that. It's starting to come alive now. You're starting to see the layers. And okay, now I'm going to finish this one off with a nice little yellow stroke in the middle. And I just felt that that was the right thing to do. And there, there you have it. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this piece, but it has a lot of texture and emotion. And I think it looks great. I'm going to add one more finishing touch on it. There's a little too much yellow for my liking, but like I said, there's no right and wrong for this. And I'm going to put a big dab of some of that brown in the middle. And there you go. All right, we are back and we are still painting. And what I'm going to do for this piece is I'm going to do something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some paint on. I'm going to pour some paint on my canvas. All right, here we go. Yes. And I'm going to put yellow. Okay. Some of my favorite colors. Doesn't have to be too much. Oh, and then I'm going to use the green, the blue. And then I'm going to use my large brush. You can use whatever brush you want. And I'm just going to go across the top. And once again, I'm just doing my background. But right now, okay. Do it over there. Multitasking right now. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this and I'm going to blend these two colors. So I just go back and forth till I get a nice little blend. So this is going to be my little background for what I'm going to do next. We're working on this piece now. And what we're going to use on this piece is we're going to use tape. And we're going to mask off different areas. And we're going to be able to make some interesting shapes. And you're about to see what I'm talking about right now. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to put some tape down in this piece. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now let's make a cool shape over here. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to add my paint. I'm just going to put some paint on this canvas right here. Bum, 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 bum. You know I love using these yellows. Okay. Add a dab of red. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take some of this blue, mix it, put it right here, because it complements the orange. This one, I'm going to go very light, because I want some of this to show through. So you're going to see that it's dabbed, and you're going to see the outline, but there's going to be some of the nuances showing through. I'm going to use a little bit of my palette knife. Just scrape a little bit. You know, we love having the texture on these things. I'm going to take a little bit of red here too. Blend it. There we go. Get a little bit creative with this palette knife. Lay this over here. Okay. And this is the first layer. We're going to pull the tape off, and you're going to see how everything is shaping up. Okay. Okay, so this is our first layer, and I actually kind of like this. It has a minimalistic quality to it that I think is cool, but we're going to let this dry, and we're going to add another layer to it. I'm going to take some more of that yellow that I like. It has a little blue on the palette knife, and I'm not too worried about that. Put that on there. Move it around a little bit. I'm not going to cover that line completely because I want it to look like the paint is going underneath that line. Take a little excess paint. My palette knife over here. You see how I just love going with the flow on these paintings. That's the fun part about it. It's just, you know, you feel the energy when you're painting and you just go with it. Okay. And I'm going to throw a little bit more over here. And then I'm going to take the paint off right while it's wet. So now we have this thing, and now it's time to put the finishing touches. Like you might see something that you want to alter. And then go ahead, like you use your brush or palette knife. And I'm going to top this off with a little bit of orange. I feel it needs some orange, so I'm going to add some orange. Okay, and there we have it. We have our second piece, and we have our little sharp defined areas, and then we have the areas that we just distorted a little bit with the palette knife to give it more feeling and emotion. There's one more thing I want to do. This sharp piece, I just want to add a little bit more yellow so it looks like it's making, like it's a transition out. This is what I'm talking about. You keep going until it feels right to you. All right, and then I'm going to just add this. There you go. And all of this with simple shapes. We used the tape to mask out areas. And I think it came out pretty cool. Okay, yes, and there we have it. We just created some cool abstract pieces. Once again, I'm your host, Eric Black, for the JCAL Education at Home series, Anyone Can. And we just showed you that you can be an abstract painter. And I just want to look at some of the pieces we created using those simple techniques. And we have this one. I don't know, it gives me like a little retro feeling to it. Nice colors, all using, you know, simple blends. And as you can see, like I was telling you before, how the color, it really makes the mood of the painting. So this one, it has a lot of dark colors. I have some brighter colors on top, and it just pops. It adds a little moodiness to it. And that's just by adding different colors and the different shapes. And you have a whole different vibe in this painting, which is kind of fun and free. It has a lot of open space, but still appealing to look at. So listen, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to see you next time. Thank you again. Later.